Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something that can change the way you protect your peace, your time, and your energy. Every single day, we are surrounded by people. Some lift us higher and some pull us down. But the real danger isn't always in the obvious negativity. It's in the subtle requests, the small demands, the quiet pressures that drain you without you even noticing. That's why today I want to talk about something powerful: staying away from people who ask for these 5 things. Because the truth is, the wrong asks from the wrong people can cost you your confidence, your boundaries, and your future. And if you don't recognize them early, you'll end up giving away more than just your time. You'll give away yourself. When people ask you to sacrifice your boundaries for their comfort, what they are really saying is that their needs, their desires, and their convenience matter more than your peace, your well-being, and your growth. Boundaries are not walls you build to shut people out. They are the lines you draw to protect the core of who you are. They define how much of yourself you give to the world and what you keep sacred. Yet there will always be people who want you to blur those lines, bend those rules, and compromise your limits so that they can feel more comfortable, so that they can benefit, or so that they can avoid facing their own responsibilities. And at first, it may not even look harmful. It may show up in small requests: stay longer even though you are exhausted, say yes when your heart is screaming no, agree with something you do not believe in just to keep the peace. Each time you complain, you think it is just one small act, one minor sacrifice. But over time, those small sacrifices pile up, and what gets buried under them is your sense of self. The truth is, boundaries are not selfish. They are necessary. They are a declaration of your worth, your values, and your priorities. They are the invisible shield that keeps you from being drained by people who do not care about the cost of their comfort. When someone pressures you to cross that line, they are showing you that their ease is more important than your balance. They are revealing that they see you not as an equal, but as a resource to be used. And the more you give into that, the more you start to feel resentment, exhaustion, and even guilt for wanting to reclaim your own space. Think about this. How many times have you left a conversation, an event, or an interaction feeling completely depleted, not because you did something wrong, but because you allowed yourself to give more than you could afford? That feeling is not weakness. It is your inner alarm system telling you that your boundaries were violated. It is your soul's way of reminding you that you matter too. Yet when you ignore that alarm and keep choosing their comfort over your sanity, you slowly silence your own voice. And when your voice goes unheard by you, it is much easier for others to drown it out. People who respect you will never demand that you betray yourself to keep them happy. They will understand when you say no. They will value your honesty. They will honor your limits. But people who do not respect you will disguise their demands as loyalty, love, or obligation. They will say things like, "If you really cared, you would do this for me." They will turn your boundaries into guilt trips, making you believe you are the problem for simply protecting yourself. And if you are not careful, you will start to believe them. You will start to believe that choosing yourself is selfish, that saying no is wrong, that having limits makes you difficult. But the truth is, those lies only serve the ones who benefit from your lack of boundaries. Imagine what happens when you continue to trade your boundaries for their comfort. You become the person who is always available, but never at peace. You become the person who gives endlessly, but feels empty inside. You become the person who is praised for their kindness, but secretly resents the very people they are helping. That is not love. That is not loyalty. That is not respect. That is exploitation disguised as relationship. And here is the harsh reality: if you do not enforce your boundaries, someone will always test how far they can push you. They will keep asking, keep taking, keep demanding until you have nothing left to give. Boundaries are not about shutting people out. They are about teaching people how to treat you. They are about saying, "This is where I end and you begin. This is what I can give and what I cannot. This is how you can love me without hurting me." And the people who truly care about you will not only understand that, they will appreciate it. They will see your boundaries as a sign of strength, not selfishness. Every time you choose their comfort over your boundary, you teach them that it is acceptable to disregard you. And every time you enforce your boundary, you teach them that you are not someone who can be used. The way people treat you is often a reflection of what you allow, and boundaries are the tool that sets the standard. There is a reason airplanes tell you to secure your own oxygen mask before helping others. Because you cannot save someone else if you are suffocating. Boundaries are your oxygen mask. They keep you breathing, they keep you strong, they keep you alive. Without them, you are trying to pour from an empty cup, trying to give when you have nothing left. And no matter how much you give, it will never be enough for people who refuse to respect you. They will keep asking, keep taking, keep expecting more, because they know you will keep sacrificing. The people who demand that you lower your guard, the people who ask you to compromise your limits, the people who get angry when you say no, those are the people you must be careful with. Because if someone truly values you, they would never want you to betray yourself for their comfort. They would never want to see you drained, exhausted, or diminished just so they can feel better. Respect is not about what someone says to you, it is about what they are willing to accept from you. If they cannot accept your no, they do not deserve your yes. When you begin to protect your boundaries fiercely, you will notice something powerful happen. The wrong people will start to distance themselves because they cannot control you anymore. And the right people will draw closer because they admire your strength and honesty. Boundaries act like a filter, keeping out what is toxic and allowing in what is healthy. They shape the quality of your relationships, your work, and even your future. So every time someone asks you to sacrifice your boundaries for their comfort, remind yourself of this truth: their comfort is not your responsibility, but your peace is. Their convenience is not worth your exhaustion, but your energy is worth protecting. Their approval is not the measure of your worth, but your self-respect is the foundation of it. And when you finally start to live by that truth, you will realize that the people who matter most will never ask you to give up your boundaries. They will help you keep them intact. When people ask you to give up your dreams for their approval, they are not simply making a request. They are asking you to trade the very essence of who you are for the fleeting comfort of their opinion. Dreams are not random wishes or passing thoughts. They are the vision your heart whispers to you when the world is quiet. They are the roadmap to the life you were meant to live, the calling that keeps tugging at you no matter how many times you try to ignore it. And yet, there will always be people who try to convince you that your dream is too big, too risky, too unrealistic, or too inconvenient for them to support. They will tell you to settle, to shrink, to play small because it makes them more comfortable. But what they are really saying is this: my approval is more important than your purpose. My comfort matters more than your destiny. The tragedy is that too many people fall for this trap. They give up on what lights their soul on fire just to fit into a box someone else built for them. They trade passion for acceptance, authenticity for validation, and potential for permission. But here is the reality. No one else has to live with the consequences of your unfulfilled life but you. The ones who pressure you to abandon your dreams will not carry the weight of your regret. They will not feel the ache of what could have been. They will not lie awake at night haunted by the vision you let go. That burden will be yours and yours alone. When someone asks you to give up your dreams for their approval, it is not because your dream is impossible. It is because your courage threatens their comfort. Your ambition shines a light on their fear. Your willingness to take risks reminds them of the risks they never took. People often want you to stay where they are because if you rise too high, it forces them to confront the fact that they chose to stay low. And instead of being inspired, they feel insecure. Instead of supporting, they criticize. Not because you are wrong, but because your pursuit of purpose highlights their decision to play it safe. Think about how many world changers, leaders, artists, entrepreneurs, and visionaries would never have existed if they listened to the voices that told them to stop. Every invention, every breakthrough, every great work of art, every movement in history was born out of someone daring to pursue a dream that others dismissed. What if Thomas Edison gave up because people told him the light bulb was impossible? What if Martin Luther King Jr. gave up because people told him equality was unrealistic? What if every entrepreneur gave up because family and friends told them it was too risky? The truth is, the very things we admire in history are the dreams that others once mocked, doubted, or rejected. And here's something powerful: your dream is not random. It was given to you for a reason. It is not meant for everyone to understand. Not everyone will see what you see. Not everyone will hear what you hear. Not everyone will feel what you feel. And that is okay, because your dream is not their responsibility. It is yours. Too often we waste years waiting for others to validate what was never theirs to approve. You don't need a committee to co-sign your purpose. You don't need the applause of your peers to pursue your calling. You don't need everyone to believe in you. You just need to believe in yourself enough to start. The danger of giving up your dream for approval is that approval is temporary, but regret is permanent. People's opinions change like the wind. Today they may doubt you. Tomorrow they may admire you. If you live for their approval, you will die from their rejection. But if you live for your dream, you will build something that lasts beyond opinions, beyond doubts, beyond criticism. Approval satisfies for a moment, but fulfillment lasts a lifetime. And the fulfillment that comes from chasing your dream is something no one can take away from you. When you pursue your dream, you will be misunderstood. You will be doubted. You will be laughed at. People may even distance themselves from you because you no longer fit their version of who they think you should be. But the cost of staying true to yourself is always less than the cost of betraying yourself. Because when you betray yourself, you don't just lose a dream. You lose your identity, your fire, your reason for waking up in the morning. And slowly, you start to live someone else's life while burying your own. Let me tell you this, it is not your job to make other people comfortable with your dream. It is your job to make sure you do not bury it under their doubts. It is not your duty to seek their approval before you take the first step. It is your duty to take the step even if they never understand. It is not your role to convince them of your vision. It is your role to protect it, to nurture it, to work for it until it becomes real. Dreams require sacrifice, but they should never require the sacrifice of your identity for someone else's comfort. You may have to sacrifice time, effort, money, and even certain relationships to pursue your dream, but you should never sacrifice the dream itself for approval. Because at the end of the day, the people who truly care about you will support your pursuit, even if they do not fully understand it. And the ones who demand that you give it up were never in your corner to begin with. Approval is addictive, and that's why it is dangerous. Once you start chasing it, you will keep needing it. And when you live for the applause of others, your life will become a performance instead of a purpose. But when you live for your dream, your life becomes a mission. And that mission has the power to inspire, to impact, to create change that outlives you. Every great story of success, every testimony of achievement has this common thread. At some point, the dreamer had to choose between approval and purpose. They had to decide whether they wanted to be liked or whether they wanted to be fulfilled. And the ones who made the impact, the ones whose names we remember, the ones who changed the game, they chose fulfillment over approval, purpose over comfort, vision over validation. So when someone asks you to give up your dream for their approval, recognize it for what it is, a test of whether you will shrink to fit into their world or expand to create your own. A test of whether you will silence your own calling to amplify their opinions, or whether you will trust that the dream inside you is stronger than the doubt outside of you. And here's the truth. The approval you are chasing today might not even matter tomorrow. The very people you're trying to impress may not even be around in the next season of your life. But the dream you abandon, that loss will follow you. That voice inside you that says, "I was meant for more," will not go away. You can ignore it. You can suppress it. You can bury it under years of trying to please others, but it will always resurface in the quiet moments. And when it does, it will remind you of everything you could have been. That's why you must guard your dream as fiercely as you guard your life. Because in many ways, your dream is your life. It is the future version of yourself waiting to be realized. It is the best of who you are waiting to be expressed. It is the part of you that refuses to settle, refuses to be silenced, refuses to disappear. And no approval in the world is worth giving that up. The day you stop asking for permission to dream, the day you stop waiting for approval to act, that is the day you truly start living. And when you live from that place, you will not only transform your own life, you will inspire others to do the same. Because courage is contagious, and when you dare to honor your dream, you give others permission to honor theirs.